You are listening to the Gamer Watch podcast.
Everyone okay? All hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Paul, can you just say something?
Hello, something.
Yeah, that's fine. I just couldn't see your wave file moving at first. Okay, so before we get into this, I've got an embarrassing story to tell, and it's been a while since we've done this. I think it's probably been about 6 months.
Did you fuck the masseuse?
No, I didn't. No,
You
not again.
finally got hold of him.
Yeah.
Not again. So, finally, yeah. He's so slippy with all his oils, I couldn't grab him. No, what I was going to say is that my setup for the podcast is a little bit different to you guys. So, Shaun, you've got your office that you work in. Duncan, I'm assuming you've got an office that you work in as well, because obviously you work from home quite a lot. And Paul, I've seen your setup. My setup is a little bit different. So I record from my kitchen. I'm on my kitchen table. I've got some old, big, shaggy carpets and curtains that I've like stitched together on like walls around me to dampen the noise. And I like cocoon myself in fabric. And my floor is lino, so it's quite echoey as well. Now, one of the things that Shaun knows about me that not a lot of people do is I hate socks. I do not like wearing socks. And what that means is that whenever I'm recording, my feet stick to the floor. And every now and again, I'll like lift my feet and I'll hear a slurp noise because I've also got very sweaty feet. What I've been doing to combat that is I've been covering my feet in a towel, right? Because it absorbs the sweat, but also it means that the floor is then cushioned so that the slippery noises doesn't happen.
So a massive sock then.
I was going to say, something that's going to probably make you sweat more.
Yeah.
An even bigger sock.
And I was setting up today and I was like sat here like, oh, my feet aren't sticking to the floor. And yeah, I'm wearing socks. And for the first time since I've ever set up in the kitchen, which is the first episode I did in the kitchen was episode 14. So that's how stupid I am. For the first time ever, I realized that if I just put socks on my feet for an hour, then I wouldn't have to create the world's biggest towel sock in order to stop my disgusting sweaty feet from sticking to the lino floor.
You've been on a real personal journey this year, haven't you, mate? You know,
I have. I mean,
shaving your legs.
Shaved my legs.
Discovering socks are a thing.
Discovering socks, yeah, I've grown.
Congratulations, right? Yeah,
I know. I've really grown over the last year. One day I'm going to work out what boxers are for.
I was wondering why, when we used to work together, you were saying that the steel toe caps was so uncomfortable.
Mate, honestly, I used to sometimes just not wear socks with those big, heavy boots.
Oh.
I hate socks.
No
I
wonder
hate
your feet are
socks.
sweaty.
Yeah, I know.
I used to go too far. I wore those like thermal socks that we got in that time. I love them.
No, I cannot abide by socks. I hate them. They are just like prisons for your feet.
I don't understand the issue. What is it that you don't like about socks?
I don't like the feeling of my feet being constricted. Like the thing is I've got really spready toes, and that sounds stupid until you realise that I can fit a banana between my big toe and my second toe. Like,
why have you tested this?
Yeah.
Why would I have not tested this? Let's just say the banana's not the only thing that fits through there. If you know what I mean, I'm quite flexible. But yeah, I can like pick shit up. Yes. Yeah, pencils. I can pick shit up, not actual shit, but I can pick things up with my toes. And so why would I want to restrict my toe grabbing ability if I could help it?
Socks and slippers, mate. That's your answer.
Nah. Oh, lovely. Love a good pair of slippers in the winter.
No, I can't abide by that. Also, Paul, I think there's still an echo coming from you.
How is this even possible?
I don't know. I can hear a bit of an echo.
I honestly don't know how I can counteract this any further.
I don't know. It might just be me. It might
if
literally
you
just be I'm
sit 10
talking
feet
too
away
loud.
from your microphone and shout to us.
Yeah, that'll be all right. But no, that is my stupid, embarrassing story, is that after 35 weeks, I've realised that socks are things that I can put on my feet. Yeah. But I'm still not going to do it. So, Shaun, do you want to...
Fuck.
Yeah, congratulations on working out what socks do. Yeah, I still don't like them.
Dude, I've just seen your slippers.
So hot.
Christ.
Oh, that's making me a bit steamy.
I'm so hot.
So
I'm not
we're
in the sexy way.
We are not putting that picture. That is just for the Discord. We are not putting that in the episode.
Sex sells, Harry. Yeah. So
Yeah, that'll be for when we launch our OnlyFans.
yeah.
On that, Shaun, do you want to intro the show?
Yeah, welcome to the Gamers Watch Awards, I guess, or also known as episode 49. We're a bit restricted with content this episode as well.
What is the bingo call?
If you let me finish, Harry, I was going to say we're a bit restricted with content this episode because bingo call is PC, so we've got to be politically correct, which means there's no Australian jokes, no
BBC?
racism. PC.
Oh.
Fuck me.
No, thank you.
How does that make
PC?
49?
Yeah,
I don't.
wait,
Yeah,
what?
I don't get it. It
Hang
doesn't.
on, you do the intro. I'm going to do some Googling. PC.
Like,
I thought it'd be like feeling fine, 49 or something.
yeah.
Like that, you know?
I mean, so the other ones after it rhyme as well, but for some reason 49 is just PC.
Shenanigans going on.
I can't wrap my head around why it's PC. But anyway,
The Adventures of PC49 is a film from 1949.
It's an old person's
It
reference.
follows Archibald Berkeley Willoughby, a British police officer who goes undercover to infiltrate and arrest a gang of violent thieves who steal trucks and trade in stolen cigarettes and whiskey. Sounds a lot like the first Fast and the Furious film, if I'm going to be honest.
Sounds like Shaun talking about Australians.
I can just... Oh my God. Literally just said that this is the PC episode, Paul.
Nah, it's out the window now. So we tried. We
No,
got a minute in.
Fucking absolute scumbags.
You did not.
Those fucking criminals and ne'er-do-wells. Anyway, Shaun, carry on. Continue.
If you enjoy this podcast, and even if you don't, be sure to follow us on Twitter, which is at GamersWatchCrew. Subscribe to us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/GamersWatch. Share it with your local Jeff Keighley this week. That's the first thing that sprung to mind. And also hit the notification bell to be reminded when we're about to premiere. What?
That just reminded me of something. Okay. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, Duncan, when you were like,
"Oh, you're going to go on about he called him Jeff Keighley?
Averici? Oh. What's his name, Duncan? Jeff who?
What? Fuck you, man. What's your problem? Like, you're the dumb cunt who said Averici. Like,
yeah, and you called him Jeff Keighley or
Jeff
Keighley.
Jeff Keighley.
It's Keighley, mate.
I didn't. I'm so fucking sorry. Jeez, I can't wait for you to fuck off. Seriously. Oh, what is that? What is that? Fucking hell. I don't know what it is. You every episode you start to piss me off more and more with this fucking you said a word wrong once. Like, come on, mate. Unbelievable. Sort your life out. I'm pissed off now. Well done.
No, Duncan.
Can't fucking help yourself, can you?
Oh, Duncan.
Every fucking week, you've always got to have a little pop at someone.
It's all right, Duncan.
Well done.
I'm pissing off for like 3 months, so it's okay.
Well done. Carry on.
Why are you pissing off?
Well, because the baby.
Okay. And then also buy our bloody merch.
Yes.
I always forget to say that one.
Yeah, buy our bloody merch. We'll have,
and I believe that's all the housekeeping.
We'll have some new merch, I'm sure, coming up at some point. I don't know when. We'll probably have some stuff tying in with season 4, which will be... Is this the first episode of season 4 then, Shaun?
No, season 4 is when we do the graphics overhaul.
Oh, okay.
I was wondering why there was a season 4 folder in the Google Drive all of a sudden.
Yeah, because I thought that season 4 was just going to start in the new year.
No. Anyway.
Do
you want to see a Switch game that I found?
Yes, please.
So there was a thing Duncan put on Twitter. Someone put a tweet saying, ruin a game by changing one of the words in the title for ass. And I, I saw that. And I was like, I'm going to search some different games to see what ones would be funny.
Oh, God.
And I stumbled across a genuine physical game that's on the Switch and you can buy on Amazon called Perky Little Things, and I'm going to send you a few screenshots of the game through Discord. Yep. So here comes the cover.
What the fuck?
What?
What the hell?
Perky Little Things.
30 quid as well. Jesus Christ.
John, please tell me you're going to lead on to some review reading here. Cause...
What the?
Here's another screenshot.
What am I looking at?
I can send multiple ones. I'll just send all three at once.
Oh my Christ.
What? This had a physical copy release.
There's a physical
What the
copy. You can
fuck?
literally go on Amazon. I'm going to go back on it because I want to read the reviews as well. You can go back on it. It's Perky Little Things on Switch.
Oh my god!
30
And
quid.
7 people have bought and reviewed that game. Oh my god! What's the synopsis of it?
Perky Little Things is a story of cherubim who travels to different worlds and helps people to find love, explore various scenarios, and put the hidden objects in the right places for your naughty satisfaction.
Oh, God.
Relax and unwind as you find yourself laughing uncontrollably through different scandalous levels. Each level offers unique and different experiences with over 50 crazy animations for you to enjoy. Jump in and see what kind of fun you can get into. Oh my god! So this physical version of the game comes with exclusive content, not in the digital version, and also comes with a perfect bound, adult-themed fan service art book.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
Yep.
How did this game is actually on Nintendo.co.uk's website? Like, how did Nintendo's the most like PC family oriented, well, most of the time, like platform? How the hell did this get through? And I just checked, and it's not available on Xbox, so it hasn't even gotten into the Microsoft Store. How did it get on there?
So there's 3 reviews I can read as well. It's the first one's titled "Graphically Good," and it's graphically good, but it's only a hidden objects game, which doesn't work with the Switch in the dock, as you have to touch the screen to collect objects, and the handheld screen images is too small to see properly. I would recommend the PC version instead.
Who is playing that on PC when you can just go on Pornhub?
There's somebody that's clearly really sad that they can't see it on the big screen. Like, that's nothing to do with being able to find the objects, is it?
They did release a game called Hentai vs. Evil. You can see in their back catalogue. Funbox Media. Strange lineup. Santa's Xmas Adventure.
Oh, of course.
Gas Guzzlers Extreme.
What a lineup. And people say that Devolver Digital are one of the best publishers.
Waifu Uncovered. I don't know what a waifu is. I know it's
a waifu.
Is it like a digital wife
thing?
Yeah, it's like a Japanese anime pillow wife. Yeah.
So it has one. So Perky Little Things has one review on Metacritic from a user review, and it literally just reads, "I loved it. It's short, erotic, funny, and with references to geek culture." Smiley face.
I finished in 20 seconds.
It was nice to see familiar characters in different ways. Smiley face.
Oh my god. That guy definitely needed a magnum.
Oh,
Jesus.
There's more. Your goal is to collect items and then to use them on certain characters on the level.
Oh, I wonder if I can find gameplay of this to put on the episode.
Oh, no, you absolutely can't, because we'll get fucking censored.
It depends. If it's on YouTube, then
this is
fair
the
game.
PC episode, and we're 15 minutes in talking about anime porn.
Let's keep it to an hour, guys.
Yeah, let's keep it to an hour. Should we just move on to the Game Awards, the Gamers Watch Awards? Oh. Are you actually still looking for?
It's on YouTube.
Oh my god! Right, yeah, Shaun, get some gameplay footage for it. We'll all have a game of soggy biscuit after this. All right.
Oh no!
I once had a Warcraft guild called Soggy Biscuit. Just
you had a Warcraft guild called Soggy Biscuit.
Yeah, I had a website with we had a proper guild on the Alliance, but then we had like an alt guild on the Horde, and had a guild website, and the banner was literally a digestive with some yogurt spilt on it.
Oh, that's disgusting.
And no one reported it.
Oh my god,
So, yeah.
That's awful.
Absolutely amazing.
That is horrendous. So on somehow we're going to segue from Soggy Biscuits to the Gamers Watch Awards. Shall we go through the definitive list of the Gamers Watch Game of the Year awards?
I mean, you don't get more prestigious than pre-showing a Game Awards with talks of Soggy Biscuit and Perky Little Things.
Not at all. Now, one thing just to caveat to this is that each category has multiple winners. So we wanted to be a little bit different to everybody else. And so with that, obviously, Shaun, myself, Duncan, and Paul, we've all got very different tastes in games. Now, a lot of our answers are the same. So for one category, for instance, we've all picked the same, but there are multiple winners. So we're not going to be making people pick between them. These are just the games that we personally believe are the best ourselves, but collectively they are all winners. And so on that...
And we're not paid off by anyone.
No, we're not.
Out there, so.
No. And also, we're going to be an award show that says, fuck Bobby Kotick. So there we go. We'll start with that. First category.
Who have we got for the mid-show musical performance?
We'll get Zoe to just sing a few bars if she's about.
Okay. I can sing Careless Whisper if you want.
Actually, yes. I've changed my mind, Shaun. I want you to sing Lighthouse People.
You got a saxophone in your hand.
No, you can sing the Lighthouse People.
Well, that's not Careless Whisper, is it? Lighthouse People.
What did I say?
You need to watch your mouth, mate. When you're fucking picking up on me for saying Jeff Keighley,
it's the Lighthouse family, isn't it?
And it's just saying the Lighthouse people. Down at the bottom of the garden.
Is that the Boddington Bees?
Yeah.
So the musical act will be... No, the Lighthouse People is the cover version of the band.
Are we the Lighthouse People?
We're the Lighthouse People, yeah.
Right.
We still need to do our music video.
Shaun and the Lighthouse People. We're like a doo-wop band. Okay, so we'll actually move on to the first award. So the first award is the best Game Pass entry of 2021. Now, this isn't necessarily the best game, but this is an entry that we feel shows off Game Pass in the best light for one reason or another. Now, I've chosen Outriders. Duncan, who did you go for?
Yakuza series.
And Shaun?
MLB The Show.
And Paul?
Back for Blood.
So those are our four winners. Now, for me personally, I went with Outriders, not because of the game being fantastically good. I did enjoy it, but I know there were a few problems on launch. I went for it because for me, it showed that it was that first big third-party launch, day one, that everyone just got hyped about. And I know that afterwards as well, that the devs came out and said that it was a huge boost for them, and especially for their player numbers. And it probably kept the game alive a little bit longer than normal. So my pick for Outriders is because of that Square Enix link and it being the first big third-party game coming to the system. Duncan, what made you pick the Yakuza series?
I imagine it might be quite a lot the same reason for Shaun. It just felt like it was something that was typically a PS or PlayStation property, and for the entire series just to show up on Game Pass. I mean, I think it's gone now, so it might be a bit irrelevant.
I think 3 of them have gone, but a lot of them are still on there.
I mean, they're not for everyone, as Harry, you well know. But yeah, I mean, I only played Like a Dragon quite near the end. They're not my favourite games, but just as like a statement of an intent of what Game Pass could be. Yakuza.
And I'm guessing that's very similar for you, Shaun.
Yeah. Also, after playing the Yakuza games a little while ago, I still don't get what your problem is with them, Harry.
Sorry, I had to mute myself because I was coughing like an absolute bastard. Sorry, mate. I missed literally all of that because my headphone fell off because I was coughing so hard.
I said, after playing the Yakuza games a few months ago, I still don't get what your beef is with the Yakuza games.
They're just boring.
Fine, that's the Yakuza comment, I guess. I went for MLB The Show because it was, pretty much like Duncan's reason for Yakuza was it felt like all bets were off from that game for what could come to Game Pass in the future, apart from obviously Naughty Dog, Insomniac Games and stuff like that. But the fact that MLB The Show has been a solid PlayStation title for years and then suddenly just jumps instantly to Game Pass on release day was quite a shock, which I imagine no one really saw coming.
No, it was very strange to see the PlayStation logo showing up on my Xbox. I'll give it that. And Paul, you chose Back for Blood.
Yeah, again, kind of similar reasons in a sense. Left 4 Dead was a massive, massive game that was kind of loved by loads and loads of people. And for Back 4 Blood, their kind of comeback to the gaming world just launched day one, and I just thought it was a massive, massive leap for Game Pass as well, having a kind of defined franchise that was loved by so many people just coming there straight away, and it was a great fun game to play with friends.
There we go. So Duncan, should we move on to the next category?
Yeah, so it's a best narrative. I went for Unpacking. Shaun, what about you?
I went for Psychonauts 2.
Paul?
I went for Psychonauts 2 also.
Harry?
And I also went for Psychonauts 2.
Oh, I didn't see that. I went for unpacking just because of way the narrative was delivered, and there was no no words or spoken dialogue or anything like that, and it was all done throughout the world, and the story was told, in the things that the character collected as you're unpacking them. But I say, I absolutely adored the Psychonauts 2. But I think on a personal level, like, unpacking resonated with me quite a lot than my own kind of journey growing up. Shaun?
It's Psychonauts 2, basically what we've discussed multiple times now over the past few weeks, where the amount of care and attention it's taken to exploring and representing different mental health issues within the game it's been done on an unprecedented level for games, and to sort of raise the bar for how to properly represent mental health in video games. That, and not just mental health, and again, I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it in case people still haven't had a chance to play it. Other like characteristics and traits people can have where it doesn't define them, it's just a part of them. That's the only way I can think of describing it without spoiling stuff.
Cool. Paul?
Exactly what Shaun's just said, but Psychonauts 2 has a fantastic story, and I only finished it yesterday, and it was fantastic. It's probably my top game of the year. It's brilliant. The storyline is just so pure. The way they've done it is brilliant, and like you're saying there, Shaun, there's no kind of stigma around the stuff that's going on. There's no kind of labels being thrown about. You can almost identify with some of the things that they're discussing that's not actually being discussed, but it's the way that they present it, and the kind of, I suppose, not to lead into another category, but the art direction that they use and stuff like that is amazing to represent these things. So yeah.
Harry?
Pretty much what everyone else has said. It's to be honest, I've completed unpacking myself, and I was very close to mirroring what you've said there, Duncan. But for me, Psychonauts, just for the representation that it showed in its story and how it intertwined its story and its characters together, is really unlike a game that I've played before. And there's not much more I can say that Shaun and Paul haven't already brilliantly said.
Cool. Then Shaun, over to you then for the next one.
Cool. So the next one is Best Art Direction, and I've once again gone for Psychonauts 2. And Paul?
Funnily enough, I went for Psychonauts 2.
Ooh. Harry, you've actually gone for one that I forgot, shamefully.
So I have gone for Procession to Calvary.
Great shout. And I went for Psychonauts 2 as well.
Cool. So my main reason for picking Psychonauts 2 was just the sheer variety in different styles and designs for each level. Like I genuinely can't remember a game that I've played before where each level design has varied so much. Like normally you can get games where there'll be different like textures and that, but you'll see like reused assets throughout each level, or there'll be big areas that are completely different to each other, but they break those areas down into multiple levels to pad it out a bit. Psychonauts 2, just every level is just completely different in design, that I've never experienced anything like it. That was my explanation. Paul?
Yeah, so picking Psychonauts 2, exactly what you said there, Shaun. I 100% agree. I think there's one thing that kind of stood out for me in the level design is how the level, and I kind of just said this in regards to narrative, but how the level and the way that they've designed it matches the topic that's currently in hand. There's one bit that I really hold quite a lot of memory on because I found it quite a powerful moment in the game, is where there's someone on an island and that is representing their kind of disconnect from the world, that loneliness. And I thought that was amazing, the way that they like just thought of what would someone's brain look like when they feel this way, and then this is the imaginative world that they've created, and for every single brain that you jump into, you've got a unique world to go and explore. It's amazing.
Sorry, I had a mouthful of mulled wine. Harry, reasons for Procession to Calvary.
So Processions to Calvary is one of, if not the funniest games that I've ever played. And part of that humour comes through what can only be described as Monty Python-esque imagery. I'm a huge Monty Python fan. Grew up watching the films and watching the TV show, and to see that style of art and comedy be intertwined into a point-and-click adventure so wonderfully. So many of the visual gags work because of the style. The animation of the characters is absolutely phenomenal. And just to have these epic images brought to life through a video game is something that I think that everybody should at least try. Because it is absolutely one of my most memorable games that I've played for a long time. And that one of the main reasons for that is absolutely the art direction of it.
Cool. And then switching back to Duncan for Psychonauts 2.
Yeah, Harry, it's cavalry, not calvary. Just
I thought it was. I thought it was cavalry.
That's fine, mate. Don't want to make a big deal out of it. Just want to let you know. But I completely agree with you on that, though. Like how every scene looked like a Renaissance painting. It was
it is. It's procession
brilliant.
to Calvary.
It's pronounced cavalry.
Is it?
Yeah. Doesn't matter. It's fine, mate. Let's move on. So mine was Psychonauts 2. Much for the same reasons as Shaun and Paul.
Calvary is the open air representation
Are you
of
looking
crucifixion
up
of Jesus.
how it's pronounced?
You are the most insufferable cunt sometimes, you know that.
It's just that I thought it was cavalry, and I've been beating myself up about that for ages, and I specifically said Calvary for this, thinking, I'm such a dumbass. Carry on, I'm an idiot.
Okay. Right. So I've lost where I was. So Psychonauts 2, much for the same reasons as Shaun and Paul. Every level just felt real in a sense. It made lots of sense. And there were two bits in particular for me. So it's the level with the band, and it was like a big Beatles 60s drugs trip. And there was one where you're in like a forest woods bit quite near the beginning. I remember just running around there for ages, just loving being in it. And there's not many games that I've had where I've loved being in the world so much. I just haven't wanted to carry on. I'm happy just to run around.
Fair enough. And then I'll switch over to Paul for the next category.
So the next category is best score / music, and I've gone for Halo Infinite. What have you gone for, Harry?
I went for The Artful Escape.
And Duncan?
Artful Escape.
And Shaun?
I too went for The Artful Escape.
I feel outnumbered.
That's okay.
I purposely picked Halo Infinite because I seen that you guys, all picked Artful Escape, and it is fantastic. The soundtrack in that is amazing. But I picked Halo Infinite because the moments in the game where you get to that action-packed kind of like in the linear missions, when you get to that action-packed kind of boss fight or whatever, and that music drops in, you just feel like such a badass, and it's just amazing, and I love it. And yeah, that's effectively what it was for me, was just those little moments that they I think Connor said it in one of the previous episodes, the Halo episode. He said about how the music within Halo goes hand in hand, and it really did for me when I was playing through the campaign, and it was brilliant. So that was my reasoning for that. Harry, why did you pick The Artful Escape?
Just because it's the best music or score in a game this year. No, honestly, I picked it because it's one of my big sort of idol growing up was David Bowie, and there's obviously a lot of David Bowie influences within this game. And so that first time that you pick up the guitar in this game and you strum it for the first time and you see the world around you light up, there are moments in this that brought goosebumps to my arms, purely because I had a decent set of headphones on and just enjoyed the experience of this character playing his electric guitar. But the real reason is that first song in the game. It's absolutely unbelievably good. And like Connor said when he did his review of it and when he was on our episode talking about it, I just sat and listened to that entire opening song, and it really opened my eyes to what this game would be from the get-go.
Brilliant. It is a work of art, that game. Duncan, why did you pick The Artful Escape?
Yeah, it felt like there's this Daft Punk album, I think it's Alive 2007, where they played like a live set, and the entire game felt like that. Like I can't remember a moment where there wasn't like music playing. I kind of think it's more of an experience than a game, which is why I haven't kind of rated it a game of the year. But a bit after I finished, straight on Spotify with the soundtrack, and there's a scene kind of right near the end as you're getting towards like the crescendo of the game, and you're going through like these village huts, and it kind of like this rousing score starts to swell up. Yeah, love it.
Brilliant. And Shaun?
For me, it's because it's not a very big genre of games where the music is like the driving force behind it. Like you got like Beat Saber and used to have Guitar Hero and Rock Band. And I think the last one I played before Artful Escape was Thumper, I think it was called, on the PlayStation VR. But none of them have mixed the music and also the like visual storytelling as perfect as Artful Escape. Like I can't, it's an experience unlike any other game before it, and I can't emphasize how much people should give this a go, even if it doesn't look like the sort of thing they'll enjoy. Just pick it up and play. It's not overly long, and it's well worth the journey with headphones as well, if you can't blast your TV up to 100 in the middle of the night.
Right, so we are back to Harry with Best Indie Title.
Okay, so my best indie title of the year is The Artful Escape. Duncan, yourself?
Flynn, Son of Crimson.
And Shaun?
It Takes Two.
And Paul?
The Medium.
There we go. So, for much like I've said on the previous segment, I just absolutely adore this game, and it's a story about a personal journey that I can relate to quite a lot. And I spoke about that when we played it and when we reviewed it earlier in the show, in that he is forever living in the shadow of his family members. And funnily enough, wouldn't you just know it, that pretty much the same thing happened not even 48 hours ago, where a customer came into the shop who knew my dad and was talking endlessly and non-stop about all the fantastic things that my dad has been up to over the last 3 or 4 years. And he's got the pub, and he was out in Kuwait, and he went over to Bermuda, didn't he? And what have you been doing with yourself then? And the look on his face when he could see that I clearly didn't care. And it instantly made me think about that first opening scene when he is chasing through the town and everybody's talking about his family member and how he's amazing and how he's the best person. And so that the story of The Artful Escape, it resonated with me, much like yourself, Duncan, with unpacking in a very personal way. So that's why it was my pick. Duncan, what about yourself with Flynn?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it was a toss-up between Artful Escape and Flynn. But I went for Flynn because it's a pure video game, whereas I found Artful Escape a bit of an on-rails thing. So if we look at what Flynn set out to do, just be this really, really nostalgic but modern like side scroller. I absolutely loved it. I can't think of a single thing in it that I'll be like, no, I don't like that. That bit's annoying me. Just like the animation. And I think when we were talking about it a couple of months ago, we were saying it looks like how we thought Mega Drive and SNES games looked back in the day. And I chose that as well because it didn't have like the backing of a bigger publisher, as it were. So yeah, Flynn, Son of Crimson.
And Shaun, It Takes Two.
Yes. It is an almost perfect game for me, I think. I mean, as everyone knows already, I'm a sucker for platformers. They are like my favorite genre, but It Takes Two feels like a platformer that could have been developed by a AAA studio. Like, the gameplay is flawless, and I can't describe. Everything just works perfectly, and it's also a co-op focused game, which are very rare nowadays. And not only is it a co-op focused game, it also executes the sort of like co-op factor through the game design. So how you have to genuinely have to work together. It's not just, it's two characters jumping through the same platform and level. It just does it all perfectly. It's amazing. It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. It's amazing. And
also the humor's spot on as well. I was fully expecting it to be like slightly childish just from the gameplay clips and that I'd seen. Nah, it's very much like The Simpsons was when it started, where it's like childish looking but adult humor.
There we go. And Paul, you have chosen The Medium.
I have, yes, because I actually hate horror games. I don't enjoy them.
Join the club.
I'm not like a jump scary person. It's not because they're like the horror genre. I just find horror as a genre, no disrespect to people that like it, just really predictable and boring. But The Medium, with its dual realities and the story it told, it was a dark story. It was a really dark story, and I loved every moment of it. And I really enjoyed the way like that you had to kind of like slowly navigate around like this kind of creepy environments, and that you felt vulnerable pretty much the whole time. And yeah, the medium for me was just absolutely fantastic. I really, really enjoyed that game, considering I don't like horrors.
That's pretty much the same way that I feel. And I think you feel the same way, don't you, Shaun?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So we will move on to Duncan with the next category.
Yeah, so the award for innovation and accessibility, I went for Guardians of the Galaxy. Shaun?
I went for Psychonauts 2.
Paul?
I went for Forza Horizon 5.
Sorry.
Drop the bass.
Harry?
I also went for Forza Horizon 5.
So I went for Guardians of the Galaxy because there's an unbelievable amount of ways you can tailor the game to specify like your abilities. So just little things like you can make your powers recharge quicker or make yourself invulnerable. There are so many options in it, and it felt like immediately. Where it just like, right, well, how do you want to have fun with this? And then it just let you pick it. It doesn't punish you. Doesn't call you shitty gamer. This is how the game is meant to be played. It was just like, right, okay, well, not everyone's the same. How do you want to do it? Have fun. And yeah, that's my pick. Shaun?
I think it's for very similar reasons why I've gone for Psychonauts 2. You can see from the moment you boot up the game, you can see that Tim Schafer and obviously everyone else at Double Fine care about every single person that is playing their game. So literally from the moment you boot up the game, there's warnings for different things that people might be struggling from where the gameplay might affect them. It also boots up an options screen so you can change a wide range of stuff to suit your needs. And then there was also one of the like hot topics in the build up to release was the God mode, where they enabled achievements to still be unlocked, and loads of idiots like lost their shit because apparently needing achievements to be locked if you enable God mode is somehow a thing that people want. Yeah, I think, and from like a core gameplay level, there was little bits with the controls when you jump in that you can tell that they've been tweaked slightly, so anyone, even like she's gonna hate me when I say it, Lucia, who's shit at games, could could pick up Psychonauts 2 and still get through it. That was why it was my innovation and accessibility game.
Paul?
I picked Forza Horizon 5 because it has a signer, and I don't think I've ever heard of a game having a signer before, ever. That just blew my freaking mind. But alongside that, it's also got like massive amount of driving assists and things. I've watched videos of people that don't have like movement in their arms and stuff like that playing Forza Horizon 5, which is mind-blowing. Like how far technology's come and how much Xbox have kind of put into the accessibility controller, and being able to open this game up to so many people with all different abilities is amazing, and that's why I made it my top one.
And Harry?
Much the same, that there are so many accessibility options in this game for all sorts of different abilities or disabilities. But I think for me, one of the main reasons is because it's a game that has been built around the adaptive controller as well. Much like you said there, Paul, there are people with limited mobility in limbs that are still able to enjoy this game with no compromise to the gameplay. And so I know that the team at Playground Games were very, very forward thinking about how to let as many people enjoy this title as possible. It was a very close call though. And I'm surprised that Shaun didn't go for it. I very nearly picked Grounded because of their arachnophobia mode, which I think is an amazing thing as well that they've done.
Yeah, Psychonauts 2 is always going to be what I pick because I was very salty that it never even got nominated for this same category at the actual Game Awards.
Yes, no, I knew that, but I wanted to put a shout out to Grounded as well because they did some amazing stuff in their arachnophobia mode, because that is a real and genuine phobia that does put a lot of people off of games. So very
Zoe
close
has
second.
to use that mode. Zoe has to use that because she is terrified of spiders. And to be fair, the spiders in that are pretty scary when they come at you. Like, even as someone that's not scared of spiders personally, I shit myself when they come at me.
But yeah, it was a very
Jedi
close.
Order.
It was a very close second, but Forza just pipped it.
Cool. So then, best action game is Shaun.
Yes, best action game. I went for Back 4 Blood. What about you, Paul?
I went for Far Cry 6.
Fair enough. Harry?
I went for Hades.
Choice. Duncan?
Chivalry 2.
Cool. I went for Back 4 Blood mainly because I really enjoyed the game. Like, it is one of my favorite games of the year. But I noticed as I was picking each game for each category, it wasn't really getting anything. And I was like, I guess it's kind of an action game. So I've given it my best action game. It's just pure, like, non-serious fun. You literally just piss about. I still go back on it every now and again to play with either on my own, or if there's a couple people on, I'll play with that. It's just pure fun. Just shooting zombies in it. 4 of you. Back 4 Blood. It's good. Paul, why did you go for Far Cry 6?
I went for Far Cry 6 because I am a sucker for a Far Cry game, as much as I dislike Ubisoft right now. But yeah, I really enjoyed Far Cry 6. I love the addition of the backpack that you get that fires rockets, and basically you can just blow up things, or you get different abilities. But overall, for me, Far Cry 6 was kind of a pinnacle Far Cry for me in a long while. I really enjoyed 5, but it's nothing on 6. The storyline in 6 for me was absolutely fantastic, and overall the action. And at the very start of the game, I did a video on it, and I talk about the movement in the game. It's so much fun, and once you kind of get the hang of it, you can just slide about and ping arrows or shoot rockets or do whatever. It's so diverse in regards to the weapon choices, and play it your way, and it's just brilliant. So that's why it's mine.
Fair enough. Harry with Hades.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty obvious one for me. I love every single other game that the studio have made. It is basically Bastion on steroids, and there's not really much else I can say other than everybody go and play this game because it is fucking incredible. I think that it just about makes this list. I know that it technically came out last year. However, it just came out on the new consoles. And so that's why I was sort of picking it for this year, even though it did technically release last year. But it is just goddamn good. It's some of the most satisfying combat in a game that I've ever played. And yeah, it's just chef kiss. Mwah.
That's all right. We'll just take a page out of FIA's book and break our own rules. It's fine.
Yeah, no, it doesn't matter. As long as it's a good spectacle, it's fine.
Yeah, all about the entertainment. Duncan, with the game that I still need to bloody play, Chivalry 2.
Yeah, to be honest, it's much for the same reason as you, Shaun, where it's just big, dumb fun. There's no sweaty knobheads at the back with a sniper. It's just you're running into massive battlefields. I think it's 32v32. It's a nice big battlefields, which was shit. Just swinging around like massive swords. You can like if you have your arm lopped off, you get a little message up saying "'tis but a scratch," and you can still swing around with your left arm. You can kill people with bread, like fish. It's so much fun, but it's the kind of game where I might not play it for months. But I know if I just want to turn my brain off, just log in for a bit. Progression is really good. Every time you do anything, you get currency to unlock. A new helmet or sword skin. It's great. Love it.
That's a really good idea with that earning currency in the in your in-game actions.
Imagine that.
Very next gen.
I will move on to Paul for the best RPG, but first I want to ask you, Paul, how are you wearing your hood on your hoodie?
I had it half on my head, not on my head. God. And I actually almost kinked my neck doing it.
It looks like the hoodie's giving birth to you or something.
It's like the rhino from Ace Ventura all over again.
Shaun, can you edit Paul's face into the rhino from Ace Ventura, please?
I was just wondering how that was going to end up being a Gamin 60.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm using that photo for many an episode to come.
Zoo Tycoon.
Christ.
Also, if you scroll up to the first one I sent, I look like Wilfred Brimley.
You'll have to do a side by side for me there, Shaun, because I don't know who that is.
He's the diabetes guy, but I'll get an image of him quickly.
Oh my God. while you get an image.
I've already got it.
Oh, for God's sake.
Don't even need to search that far. It's just the first thing that comes up.
It's just the
Wilfred
last
Brimley.
thing you searched in your history. Oh my God, you do look like him.
It's the cheeks.
Jesus Christ. Should we move on to the next one then, Shaun?
Oh, yeah. Paul, take it away with best RPG.
Jesus, I can't speak. Best RPG, and for me, that was Outriders. What about you, Harry?
Thank you, Paul. I picked Scarlet Nexus.
And Duncan?
It feels like a bit of a cheap one, but Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
And Shaun?
I don't give a shit if it's cheap. Mass Effect Legendary Edition.
Okay, so I picked Outriders on... It was a really, really technical basis that I broke this down to, that I hadn't played many RPG games this year. So I picked Outriders because Zoe and I actually really enjoyed playing it. Although, in my opinion, the story's pretty pants, the gameplay was actually really fun, and I enjoyed kind of using my character's abilities and just working together as a team to kind of get through the whole game. But yeah, we really enjoyed it, and we're actually quite sad that they weren't really planning on adding extra content. Apart from that bit at the end, that was just do the same thing and grind it for days, and I was like, no thank you. But apart from that, yeah, that was why I picked Outriders. I thought it was a good game. And Harry?
So I picked Scarlet Nexus because I'm a big fucking anime dweeb with a waifu. And it basically allowed me to live my dream of living within an anime world. It was just really fucking fun. Like, the combat was great. The story was batshit insane bonkers. The animation looked superb. But the actual RPG elements of the game were actually really fleshed out and really, really well thought out. And it's just a very, very good, like, rock solid RPG that really I couldn't put down for a good 2 weeks, and then I didn't touch again afterwards because that's just the way the show goes because we have to play too many games. But yeah, it's just absolutely superb.
And Duncan?
Yeah, so I picked Mass Effect Legendary Edition. I think it's more of a remaster rather than a full remake, but you know, if you look at some of the guff that's come out this year, like GTA, for example, I was a bit nervous because Mass Effect is my favourite series of all time. It's the greatest ever RPG. You know, 1 to 3 are the best ever. But it was absolutely brilliant. It looked so good. I'm not really bothered with photo modes, but near the end of Mass Effect 3, I spent hours just in photo mode trying to get decent pictures. It's the games that I loved and remember fondly from a decade ago, something like that. Just treated with so much like care and attention. And I blitzed all of them, like 1 to 3, probably about 150 hours in total without touching anything else. Yeah, superb.
Just before we move on to Shaun, how did you feel about the booty shots being taken out, Dunks?
I didn't really mind, mate. I'm not really a big gamer for that kind of thing. I was all about Talia anyway.
Are you not a pervert, Duncan?
No, Harry.
If we're playing more AAA games instead of indie games, if he was.
I just couldn't believe how many people got mad about that. It really made me laugh.
Not a racist.
Sorry.
Well, to be honest, Paul, I was more about Talia than I was Miranda, so booty wasn't really an issue for me. It was more.
And anyway, if you want booty, you've got the weapon. The weapon has got a weapon. I'm telling you.
So Harry's a pervert.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're getting from this.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Speak for yourself.
What was that Switch game again, Shaun?
Oh shit, what was that actually called?
Itty bitty titties or something?
I'm pretty sure the word Perky was in
Perky Little Things, yeah. I've got it on my Switch right now.
Yeah, so anyway, I really liked Mass Effect. Thanks for asking.
And what do you think about the booty shots being removed, Shaun? I'm joking. What's your game?
To be honest, I didn't know the booty shots were removed. I'm going to change my answer quickly. No, it's basically the exact same reasons as Duncan. Mass Effect is the greatest RPG series of all time. So it was always going to be in one of my Game of the Year picks whenever like a remaster or remake or a new one in the series comes out. So instead of just repeating the same things, I'll probably say I think this category is a bit of a testament to how good Game Pass is, because I would say it's quite a safe bet to say for all of us that one of the main genres we play each year is RPGs. And I have played it, trying to come up with a pick for this category. I realized I've played very little RPGs this year, and the main reason is because I've been playing so many other genres through Game Pass, and just like the sheer variety of games I have at like my disposal now to play, that it has basically meant that I've played like 2 or 3 RPGs maybe this year in total. So yeah,
I would say
Mass Effect Legendary Edition, and then also go Game Pass.
Right, so Harry?
So we'll move on to the next category, which is Best Simulation/Strategy Game. I have gone for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Duncan?
Football Manager 22.
Oh, and Shaun?
Microsoft Flight Simulator.
And Paul?
I picked Deer Simulator. No, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Okay, so I don't think I need to speak about why I picked Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's very, very fucking good, and I've not played Football Manager 22, so that's the reason. No, in all honesty, graphically, it is pushing the barriers for what can now be done, and I think along with the implementation of the weather system that it's put into the game as well, it is just superb from a pure simulation point of view. I still play it. I've got about 100 flight hours. I still enjoy it. I love exploring the world, and it's just brilliant, brilliant fun. Duncan, why have you gone for Football Manager 22?
I think it's probably my most played game every year. I mean, yeah, obviously I had my hopes for Flight Simulator because I like my dad and stuff. But I don't know, I just bounced off it quite quickly. I don't know. I'm not criticising it, but Football Manager, I think it's a bit of like a real dearth of decent football games at the minute, and you've only really got FIFA as your fix. And I guess you need to play it to get it, but there's nothing quite like seeing your 16-year-old Colombian wonder kid like score a hat trick against Man United after bringing him on 70 minutes. I mean, I've played Championship Manager and Football Manager my whole life, so yeah, I'm not going to look further than that, really.
So, in terms of a Football Manager game, is this a good Football Manager game, or is it just the newest one?
I don't think he would have picked it as his best simulation strategy game. If it was.
No, because I used to play FIFA. FIFA is some of my most played games ever, but I fucking hate FIFA. But like you say, it was the only football game around at some point. So is this genuinely a very good Football Manager game?
Yeah. I was pretty elaborate on that. It is genuinely good, and I agree with you on FIFA. Like it is just a case of playing it for the sake of playing a football game. Whereas the level of depth that you can go into, initially you've got like a data hub, so you can look at your team's XG, which is your expected goals, and there's loads of some people joke and call it a spreadsheet simulator, but there are kind of lots of options to make it easier. But yeah, it's great. I properly get my sports game fix out of it, so as I don't need to spend any money on gambling simulators like FIFA.
Nice one. And Shaun, yourself with MFS.
Yeah, I went for Microsoft Flight Simulator because I'm not really a huge simulator game person. Like, the only games I would class as simulators that I really play are racing ones where I will properly dive deep into the simulation aspect of it. But I just got hooked on it, like to the point where I started reading the manuals for different controls and systems that are in these planes so I could use them in the game. And also found out through that some of the things in the game just flat out don't work or are broken. But nonetheless, I got hooked on it, and it was just really good fun. It was also one of the games that does the whole not easy to control, hard to master, but it was sorry, oh god, I felt like a fly went down my throat. You could basically just go for a little cruise and relax, or you could proper try and sweat it with like every control on and having to sort of manually handle everything. So there was sort of whatever mood you was in, you could still play MFS.
And Paul?
Yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator for me was just absolutely brilliant. And I think given the time that it kind of launched, we'd all been stuck in lockdowns and travel restrictions and yada, yada, yada. It kind of opened up this virtual world off the real world that people could explore. And but then again, 95% of the time I just kept trying to fly into my house. But you did have the whole world. I think we all did that. We all landed at our house.
The entire world open to you. Oh, look, my house.
That was me constantly playing it. But no, I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to the future content that they're looking to add with the races and stuff like that, to add a little bit of a different edge to it, because I suppose at the moment it is a flight simulator. You just you go and explore, you fly the planes, you land them, and I think once they add in that extra content, I'll be back on that in no time.
There we go. So Duncan, we will now move on to best game mechanic.
So best game mechanic, mine was the Halo grapple hook. Shaun?
Mine was the Medium's dual realities.
Oh.
Mine was also the Medium's dual realities.
And Harry?
And I also went for the Halo grapple hooks.
Cool. Yeah, so I picked the Halo grapple hook. I mean, it's not a new idea by any means, a grapple hook, but I think how the way it moved the Halo combat to a different level. I mean, I don't think anyone can argue that the combat in Halo Infinite is the best first-person shooter combat.
Oh, it's incredible.
It's so good. And it just when you get into the flow of it, and I'm not talking so much about the open world because I'm a bit iffy on that, but when you're in like an arena bit, I don't want to spoil it, but there's a mission quite near the end where you have like 3 different arenas. And you are, and the way you're just bouncing around, and then you grapple hooking a fusion coil, lobbing it, pinging someone in the head, swinging around the corner out of sight. It's the most thrilling combat I've felt in a long time because of grapple hook for me. Shaun?
So yeah, I went for the Medium's dual realities. It kind of goes back to what Paul said for the best indie title, where it didn't just play it safe as like just another horror game where it relies on jump scare. In fact, there was only one jump scare throughout the whole game. It was a fucking bastard of a jump scare, but still only one. Yeah, and it opened up a whole new avenue of different sort of puzzles and level design that they could implement. And if I remember right from us playing it at the start of the year, the game mechanic sort of fades away towards the end a bit, like it's not utilized as much as it could be, but I would be more than open to playing a sequel where it explores further ways to implement the dual realities.
Paul?
Yeah, the Medium's dual realities, it was a brilliant concept, and I love the way it worked, and kind of being able to do the puzzle solving in one world, but then you have to jump into that other reality to be able to do a different bit, and because there wasn't always parts where they were side by side. Sometimes you went into it and came back out, but the times where it was side by side and you were kind of navigating those two worlds at the same time was just mind blowing. I was just like, this is amazing, and it was quite a revolutionary kind of change in regards to how games tend to work, even on kind of split screen. For me, I was like, this is a really awesome idea, and they've done it so well.
Has it been patented now? That
Yeah. But I think I remember. I think it was actually in our group chat when they first patented it, and was looking through it, and it's a very vague patent where basically anyone could get around it. It's just they wouldn't be able to do the very, very specific way that it's done in that game.
That annoys me.
But still bastards for patenting it.
And Harry, what about you?
So it's the only thing I like about Halo. No, I'm joking. So the combat in Halo Infinite is absolutely phenomenal. Now, I'm probably going to go against the grain and say I don't like sprint in Halo. I much prefer Halo games without it. However, that in an open world wouldn't work. And so to have implemented this grapple hook and for it to work in every single instance in the game, from combat to platforming to world traversal, it's an absolute game changer for the entire Halo franchise going forward. I don't think we will ever see a Halo game, unless it's a Halo Wars title, ever released now without the grapple hook. It is superb and it's ridiculously good fun. And so that's why it's my best game mechanic of the year.
Sure.
Fair enough. I'll move on to the next one then. Worst Game Pass entry of 2021. My pick, probably the most unsurprising pick for me, is GTA San Andreas. What about you, Paul?
It is GTA San Andreas.
And you, Harry?
So mine was a toss-up between my next game that's in the list and this one, which is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
And Duncan.
Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
Ooh. It's a fucking good shout.
So I picked GTA because even if it wasn't an absolute clusterfuck of a launch, I still would have put it in because I just hate GTA in it. It was just broken. It was another thing that Rockstar have done that they'll once again get away with once everyone forgets about it in 6 months' time. So for me, it had to be the worst Game Pass entry of 2021. What was your reasonings, Paul?
It looked like shit, it played like shit, it was a heap of shit, and it's just shit, and they're absolute arseholes for releasing it and bigging it up and putting it out at that standard. It's Rockstar, and I get that they don't release many games, but come on, people still use Red Dead to justify every graphical point on a game ever, and then you release that crap. Nah. that's why it is the worst Game Pass entry for me.
And any other additions to that for your reasonings, Harry?
So it looks like crap, plays like crap. It's just absolute shit. It's a mobile port with awful skins put on top of everything. But I think the reason for me it's the most just the worst Game Pass entry is because knowing what Rockstar and Take-Two have been doing to the modding community. The modding community have kept San Andreas alive on PC for 15 plus years, and they have just put takedown notice after takedown notice, and they've delisted versions of the game, and they've completely hemorrhaged any and all excitement for these three games, which I know that you don't like them, Shaun, but three of the most iconic and groundbreaking games ever made into nothing more than a quick buck. And so, fuck that.
So it's just shit, basically.
It's just shit. It's just really shit.
Okay, I'll move swiftly on to Duncan for the only other game that's made this category.
Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance is probably one of the worst games I've ever played. It's complete fucking shit, and I bought the GTA trilogy, which should tell you how fucking shit it's because I really enjoy kind of dungeon crawler games where you just kind of hammer in attack, just a bit, the kind of looter. Not a shooter, but just fantasy looter kind of games. But it's appalling how bad it is. I only did a couple of missions because I couldn't fucking take it. But the AI is just abysmal. So I like to play as like a ranger, like archer. And you can literally stand in like the arena and just shoot everything, and then none of the enemies would know you're shooting at them. So it would just took any skin out of it. But then if you did get into like a melee brawl, there was no way of you get locked into an attack animation, so you couldn't dodge out of it. I can't explain how bad it was. The thing that sticks in my mind the most is that the archer, when you're just standing there, just doing your basic attack and just pinging arrows, her upper body is completely independent from her legs. So her legs are perfectly still. They haven't been animated, but her upper body's just flailing around, flinging arrows off. For a current next gen game, fucking abysmal, utter shit. And I remember it really annoyed me when it came out because there was a bit of a song and dance about it with their marketing. And I was like, they do really shit on Game Pass. And I was a bit like, we really love Game Pass as a service, but they're letting this shit on it, and it soured it a little bit for me. Same with GTA, both shit. Get them in the bin.
I think that's the best summary for this category, really. Both shit in the bin. Right, move on to not a greater category, I guess. Paul with the next one.
Yep, so it's the most frustrating game of the year, and I chose I Am Fish. What did you pick, Harry?
I picked Skatebird.
And Duncan?
Battlefield 2042.
And Shaun?
Genesis Noir.
Okay, so I picked I Am Fish because I really, really enjoyed it up until a point that it got stupidly hard. The mechanics didn't work, and it really fucked me off because I was like, this is a cool game. It's like it's the bit out of Finding Nemo when they're escaping, and then it became shit, and it really annoyed me. It genuinely really frustrated me. Sorry, I've obviously got the shit from San Andreas still built up here. But genuinely though, I was really disheartened by the fact that when I played this game, I was really rating the mechanic of it, and I liked the fact that you went into different kind of like objects to roll about in, like it wasn't just the fishbowl, and that each fish had their own kind of abilities and stuff like that you had to use to navigate the kind of the 3D almost platformer world at some points. But then it just got to a point where it was just really difficult, like for no reason. Like they just made it awkward, and there's a specific moment in the game where I'm trying to jump out of this bucket and it just wouldn't work, and I just got to the point where I just uninstalled it, which I don't do very often. So yeah. Did
you ever play, is it I Am Bread? Because it's made by the same studio, and I had the same feelings of that. I was like, that's their shtick, is just purposefully irritating games. But it's also, that's not really very fun, is it? So, but from start to kind of middle, like I did get to about the midpoint in the game, I believe, anyway, and it was great. Like every little mechanic and stuff, it worked really well, and yeah, it was hard, but it wasn't to the point of like near being impossible until you got past that point, and then it was just ridiculous. So yeah, so for me, that is my most frustrating game of the year. What about for you, Harry?
Skatebird. I'm going to be very quick with this.
So shit.
It's fucking shit. Unplayably bad. Absolutely horrendously bad. Do not play it. It controls like I've got my thumbs in treacle. Fuck it. It's shit. Move on. Next person.
I actually really like it.
Nah, it's wank. Move on. Next person.
You sounded so enthusiastic then, handing over to Duncan.
Move on.
Yeah. No, thanks for that great intro. Mine was Battlefield 2042. I haven't made it a secret that Battlefield is my jam. It's also not a secret that it's been fucking shit. Really disappointing. I mean, to the point now where they've had to halve the player count because they realised that 128 people on the map sucks dick. It just, so disappointing. There is some fun to be had with it, but it's a poor imitation of a Battlefield game. And funny enough, as we've been talking, my mate just texted me and he said, "Oh God, why isn't Battlefield good anymore?" So yeah, very disappointed and frustrated with it.
I'm trying to think of how to talk about this next one. Genesis Noir is not a game.
Correct.
Fuck me, it's the most pretentious shit I've ever had to put on my TV. Like it's basically if the people that made the fantastic Artful Escape were just pretentious, posh little wanks who thought they knew everything about art and stuff, and basically wanted to be like artistic philosophers. That is Genesis Noir. Absolute fucking shit. It was frustrating to play because I had to play a whole bloody thing for this podcast because Harry didn't play it.
Should we move on then?
What was it, 10 minutes?
I played about 2 hours and it was shit. I played 2 hours in total, but I played it over 2 playthroughs because it deleted my entire save file. And then I got to the same point I was at the last playthrough and it was just complete shit. So we're going to move on to the worst launch of the year. I have picked Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. What about yourself, Duncan?
eFootball 2022.
And Shaun?
I just want to say as well, that wasn't Duncan's original pick, if I remember right. And I literally looked at it at the start and I was like, I forgot about that game.
Yeah.
I forgot that was out this year.
Oh, God, yeah. Shaun, your pick?
My pick was the Halo Infinite multiplayer.
How dare you?
No, you don't get to talk about multiplayer, Harry.
The multiplayer. And Paul, what about yourself?
I picked The Ascent.
Good pick. So, yeah, GTA San Andreas, the definitively shit edition. There we go. That is my reasoning. Duncan, eFootball. eFootball.
eFootball. You want some? They just... Because what's happened to Pro Evo, man?
They fucked it.
The most beloved football series, and they've just completely fucked it. I don't know what you can say. I'll refer back to what I described the passing as when we reviewed it, me and Shaun. And we said passing is like trying to flick a rolled up bogey, but it gets stuck to your finger and misses the bin. That's the best thing I can say about it. Awful. Absolutely dreadful.
Fucking shit. And Shaun, you've gone for Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Yeah. That's all you can say, Harry. No more. Zip it. Put that masking tape, duct tape over your mouth.
Okay, it's fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I've gone for Halo Infinite multiplayer. I think for obvious reasons for everyone that's clued into the games industry, and also because it's one of the only online multiplayer games I've ever been like properly hyped for throughout the whole year, waiting for it to release, and it released as a pile of shit. Like, get gameplay, core gameplay, perfect. Everything else, pile of shit. Also, I was listening to some of our old episodes a little while ago. What happened to those like 20 odd maps that are apparently, like, where did that come from? Did they actually say that? Or
yeah, they did. Yeah, it's just not happening.
There's like 3. 3 maps.
It's not happening at the moment. It will be at a later date because it's still in beta. Oh, it's still in beta.
And then, yeah, obviously, playlist problems, overly predatory monetization. The event ended up being absolutely wank.
Desync.
What am I missing? Oh, yeah. And then the actual gameplay, like netcode, network, whatever you want to call it, issues. Desync, which is just it can completely fuck up a game.
Advertising things for free that actually cost money.
Yep. That was part of the event.
Locking things
and actually
away.
The battle pass. There was some things. Some of the Reach stuff was supposed to be in the battle pass. That is now in the store.
It's the Reach battle pass, and you have to pay for things.
I didn't think you were going to talk about it, Harry.
I'm just reminding Shaun. Shaun didn't know if he'd remembered it all. That was all.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but at least they've got XP for kills. Oh
no, they don't.
Oh,
not yet.
Oh no, they don't.
Soon, TM.
Soon.
So
TM.
Halo Infinite multiplayer.
And Paul, you've gone for the Ascent.
I have, yes. The Ascent was a massive, massive disappointment on launch. Myself, Shaun, and Zoe, the Thistledew crew, we were all hyped for it. We were like, yes, a new game for us all to play together. It had quite a big bit of hype behind it as well. There was a lot of people talking about it. There was a lot of hype, and then it launched, and it didn't work. And I haven't gone back to it because of that, because we've moved on now to different games, and it's a bit disappointing because I was really interested in it. I thought this looks really good. When I played it to begin with, because it did work for the first 5 minutes, it was fun, and then it just totally broke and people went invisible, people's games crashed. It just didn't work at all, and it was just kind of like, right, okay, we just all kind of called it quits, and it eventually got uninstalled because we never went back to it. So it just shows you the impact of a bad launch, I suppose. But yeah, it was really disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't play in party mode a lot with people, and you guys will all attest to that. To get me to play an online game is almost impossible. And
it fucking is impossible. We still haven't managed to do it.
For once, I was like, right, Jordan, who is the bare naked man with the pet rabbit, he was like, Harry, I'm on the Ascent. Come and join me. I'm on the Ascent. Come and play it with me. And I was like, fine. So we joined the game, and then none of our guns worked. And then I joined the game, and then my gun broke. And then I rejoined the game, and then I got stuck in a pause menu. And then I rejoined the game, and then the bosses didn't load up. And then I uninstalled the game, and I never touched it since. It's my way of knowing if someone is talking absolutely out of their arse and just trying to be like, little Xbox, is when they say that the Ascent is their game of the year. Bullshit. No, it isn't. You're wrong.
Who the fuck said that?
Oh, I've seen people say it. I've seen multiple people say, "Oh, the Ascent, it was interesting. It's my game of the year." Oh,
it looks.
It looks really nice, but it plays like fucking shit. It's horrendously bad. So yeah, that's a very good pick, Paul.
When it did work, it was amazing fun, but it didn't work the majority of the time. So it was
running backwards and shooting forward simulator. It got old very quickly.
But what I mean is, like, any game that launches with that amount of problems, and it went on for, I don't know if it's actually fixed now, but it went on for long enough that I stopped like following the game, sort of thing. So any game that launches like that, I don't think should be in the running for like a game of the year sort of thing.
No, not at all.
No matter how fun the core gameplay is.
But yeah, we'll move on to the next one, because Duncan, you are going to introduce the next category.
The most controversial opinion.
I wonder what I talk about.
Buckle up.
It's probably best just to read it out in full before we move on. So mine was the Halo Infinite multiplayer was specifically designed to induce FOMO and to coerce players into opening their wallets to circumnavigate the grind, and people who were defending 343 to the tits turn blue mugs.
And they've basically been proven wrong, because now the fucking developers have come out and been like, yeah, we did a lot of things wrong, and yeah, we shouldn't have done this and shouldn't have done that.
They've backtracked on but they're changing almost every aspect, still apart from the monetization though.
Yeah, that's never
those store prices haven't been mentioned at all in any of their updates.
Anyway, we're speaking about Halo a lot recently. Shaun, what's your pick?
Mine is Rockstar have been undeserving of 90% of the praise they've had for 2/3 generations, and haven't been at the forefront of gaming innovation since those 2/3 generations ago. That's it.
Paul?
Yeah, mine's just a fact about myself. It's controversial to begin with that I still haven't watched The Matrix.
We have to do a watch along.
I do plan to watch it because I really want to play that Matrix experience. But yeah, so I haven't watched it. Controversial. Anyway, yeah, mine's the the Halo multiplayer overall. What I said was the Halo multiplayer overall was a massive disappointment and ruined the Xbox hype around Forza by launching a week after it. It spat in the face of those who supported the franchise for years and created a massive divide in the Xbox community. They oversold the multiplayer, and it was designed no different than a low-budget free-to-play game we would expect from a mobile game developer, and then continued to lie about it and hide these facts under a veil named beta. That was a big one.
Harry?
So my one isn't about Halo Infinite multiplayer. So my one is the Halo Infinite campaign is fine. It's absolutely fine. It's like a 7 out of 10. It's absolutely okay. But the open world is fucking boring. It's so bland. It's so one-dimensional. And it is just walking around the same area, doing the same thing that other games do better. If I want to play a Far Cry style game, guess what I'll play? Play Far Cry. Oh my God, the open world is so boring. So yeah, that's my controversial opinion.
I can't wait to get attacked on Twitter.
This is going to be great. Also, I just wanted to expand on Paul's when he said that they were 343 were like lying about some of the aspects. I find it kind of funny that some of the things they've mentioned in the past few days of recording now, that they're changing, people are like, oh, they're doing a swell job. They've done that way quicker than they said they initially would take them a couple of weeks ago. It's like, does that not show you that it was very simple to do and they were just trying to drag it out and prolong it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that misplaced trust. We spoke about it at length a couple of weeks ago. I cannot understand why at that point 343 had earned so much trust out of people, because they fucks up the MCC and 4 and 5 were a bit wank. So to see people bending over backwards to defend the monetization of it was fucking nonsense. I couldn't believe it.
But it was like I think it was specifically the playlist changes. About a week or so ago, they were like, we are going to change them because everyone said it's shit as it is. But it's going to take us it'll take us just before Christmas for like these 1 or 2 playlists, and then the rest of them will be after the new year sort of thing. And they're all in there now. It was 2 days ago it changed, and they all went in there: Fiesta, Tactical Slayer, Team Slayer, blah blah blah. But that's it. The reaction should just be good. You've done it, not like, oh, I thank you so much. I'm gonna pay for this game now. Like it should have been there in the first place. It shouldn't be like it's hard to explain. People that are still being critical are being called like negative, but we're not being negative. We're saying like it's good that it's in there, but it shouldn't be praised because it should be in there from launch, sort of thing. I don't know, it's a mess. It's all a mess. Fuck it.
And that leads us on very nicely, doesn't it, Sean, to yours?
Yeah. Also, there were very 4. Was that 4? Yeah. 4 negative categories, and they were very AAA dominated.
They were.
Telling.
Wonder why that is. So my next one is most disappointing game of the year. I went for Echo Generation, which is not a AAA game. Paul?
I went for The Ascent again.
Harry?
Do I even need to say it?
No, I don't think so.
No. And Duncan?
Moonglow Bay.
Okay, so I went for Echo Generation because it was a game that I chose to play for the podcast. It wasn't one that was like given to me, and it looked like a Stranger Things sort of game where it's a group of kids solving this like mystery in a small town, and you go through, you have like turn-based combat, solve puzzles and that. It looked like right up my street, the sort of game. Turns out it was nothing like that. It's just very basic, just walking around. You occasionally get into a battle. It's mostly boss fights, and the combat's absolutely terrible. It's all like quick timey events to hide the fact that there's zero depth to the combat. And then it has really frustrating mechanics, like having to go back to your bed to sort of like fully heal, and that, which takes about 5 minutes of running, and then 5 minutes of running back to where you were to continue the story. So yeah, it was just really disappointing. I had a lot more hopes from what it looked like when I was downloading it. Why did you pick the Ascent, Paul?
I kind of feel like I kind of covered it already in worst launch, but to kind of summarize that, I was hyped. It was shit. No, I'm not.
It's a good synopsis.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fair enough. Harry, you haven't said it, but why Halo Infinite multiplayer?
Because I don't want to have my wallet raided by lying developers, because I need to buy $10 pineapples for the back of my Warthog.
Oh, it's not pineapples now, it's tea bags. Now,
fuck that. It's just
the
ridiculous.
newest ones
Basically, I don't want to be a corporate shill for 343 who have fucked up one of the best multiplayer games ever made. And the fact that we're, 2 months after the launch of it, and we can only just play some of the most common game modes, specifically because they realised that if they included those game modes, it would fuck up their monetization plans. I don't think that's good. So, Halo Infinite multiplayer.
Fair enough. And Duncan, if you wouldn't mind bringing up the nightmares of a few episodes ago with Moonglow Bay, then you can give us your explanation.
So I'd really high hopes of Moonglow Bay, because obviously I love Stardew Valley, and this looked to be like really kind of ticking those boxes for me. But just mechanically, just felt really off. I think me and Harry spoke about it on that episode, and just weird little things like there was no shadows. Just really made it all feel a little bit out of place for me.
Hitboxes as well was shit, weren't they?
Yeah, just like you're on this boat with a dog, but because you're like your Roblox Minecraft blocky, you would walk into the dog and you had to walk around it like real like a little annoyances. And just really disappointed. I played about 15 hours of it as well, so it's not like I just played it for 2 minutes and made a decision. But in the end, I just got real fucking fed up with it, and I was really sad by the end of it.
Fair enough. I think that is all of them, isn't it?
It is indeed.
I'll hand it over to Paul for the next category then.
And the next category is Shithead of the Year Award. Woohoo! And I picked Bobby Kotick. Who did you pick, Harry?
Peter Molyneux.
And you, Duncan?
Yves Guillemot, I think you pronounce it. Guillemot.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And Shaun?
I've also gone for Bobby Kotick.
I don't even feel like I need to explain why this dickhead is on this list. But yeah, he's just a horrible cretin. Needs to get some serious help and get away from Activision. The shit that is being allowed to happen under his authority is a fucking joke, and it's just disgusting practice. Harry?
Peter Molyneux has just made the very first large-scale NFT game, so he can go fuck himself, because those things are, as I keep saying, they're multi-level marketing scams for frat boys. So keep that shit out of video games, please.
He was how did Duncan describe him in the last episode with Thomas?
The most disappointing man in video games.
Yeah, dishonest or disappointing, something like that.
I called him the premature ejaculation of video games.
Yes. Do you remember his little? Yeah, I think it was him that was supposed to be making it. That
Project
Connect
Natal?
game, the Connect game. Yeah, where you were. Connect was Project Natal.
What was it called?
I can't remember what it's called, but you were like interacting with this little kid. Yeah, and like
it's gonna drive me mad.
Like playing in a pond with him and that. Fuck me, nothing came of that.
Fuck Peter Molyneux.
Fuck Peter Molyneux.
And Duncan?
Yeah, so mine's Yves Guillemot. I don't know. Are we doing explanations bit now?
You can do.
Yeah. So to be honest, mine is I nearly went for Peter Molyneux, But I feel like he's Guillermo. Ubisoft have got all of these issues coming out with the way staff are treated. But he hasn't done anything to improve the situation for his staff. Instead, he's the first cunt to introduce NFTs into AAA gaming. Fucking piece of shit. But yeah, it's the same as Peter Molyneux. I think he's made like $50 million for absolutely nothing. Fuck all these guys. Yeah. Just kick them in. When you like to do that, if you saw any of them, just a real kicking in, you wouldn't feel bad about it. Like sometimes,
a proper bricking.
So basically, we've got this little park down the road on a bit of a tangent, and it's a really beautiful little park. There's loads of wildflowers, etc. there, and these little chavs just leave so much shit and like kick down trees and whatever. And I say to Georgia, I'm like, I'd love to go and give him a kicking, just a real good kicking in, just teach him a lesson. And then,
can we please have a Cornwall kicker shirt?
Cornwall Chav Kicking Association. But then it's like, but it's any of these guys, just they need a real good shoeing, you know. Well, do you reckon, right? If you were walking down the corridor with Bobby Kotick, I mean, he doesn't give a fuck who you are. You would just like, you know, shin him so badly, just proper. You'd wear your heavy steel toe cap boots with no socks on, and you would just go to town on his fucking shins, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would.
Cunt.
Oh, just imagine Dan's 2-footed challenging Bobby Kotick in a corridor.
I mean, I don't advocate violence, but for some people, absolutely need the fucking living hell ripped out their arsehole.
Oh, that was contradictory.
Oh, Christ. And Shaun, Bobby Kotick.
I don't know how I can improve upon that description of any of them. They're just fucking needs to be arrested is what he needs to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know what else I can say really.
I bet that if he got arrested, he would go down the same route as that. Who is the fucking Epstein? The same thing would happen with Kotick. Someone would be like, "Oh shit, better off him in case he spills the beans."
Yeah.
Fucking cretin. Absolutely.
Well, should we move on to people that aren't cretins? Because I'm excited about this bit.
Cool down.
We're going to move on from shithead of the year to the Times Person of the Year, but it's the Gamers Watch Times Person of the Year. Now, I have gone for James Stephanie Sterling. And yourself, Duncan?
Yep, same. James Stephanie Sterling.
And Shaun?
I've gone for Tim Schafer.
And Paul?
I've gone for Mark Zuckerberg for bringing us the metaverse. No, I'm joking. I picked Alana Pierce.
No, I'm going to keep it very short and concise. I have picked James Stephanie Sterling because the work that they do in fronting these issues is second to none. And I think that they need more plaudits than they get. And so that's all I'm going to say. They do brilliant work. And Duncan?
Yeah, much the same reason. So I mean, I think we've all been fans of them for years now. Even kind of during their transition, and the absolute bile that they get for being non-binary. I'm proud about it. But still, you know, doing what they do, calling out shitty practices, putting themselves out there, like genuinely an inspirational person. And almost like, you know, you're quite proud of them. I don't know if you feel the same way.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, Commander Sterling for me.
And Shaun?
I've gone for Tim Schafer because whenever his name's brought up in conversation with everyone, there's never like a bad thing that's said about him. It's always like, oh yeah, I like his games, or yeah, he's a nice person. But he never seems to get like the full, I don't know how to describe it, full recognition, I guess, of like how good of a game designer he is. Like, what's the guy at the head of Bethesda called? Is it Tim Howard?
Tim Howard. No, Tim Howard was an ex-Man United goalkeeper.
Who the fuck is the...
Todd Howard.
Todd Howard. Like, he is everywhere. And I would say Tim Schafer deserves to be more in like the spotlight than he does in the games industry.
Yeah, 100%.
And especially coming off the back of Psychonauts 2, where he, like, the amount of effort he's put in, like I've said, with the representation and exploration of different mental health issues. Like, he consulted multiple experts and like spent tons of time with them to make sure that everything in this game was caring and perfect. And I just don't think he gets enough recognition that he deserves for a game designer.
There we go. And Paul, you've picked Alana Pierce.
Yeah, so I sat down with Zoe last night and kind of had a discussion with her, and I was kind of picking my brain about who to pick, but I picked Alana Pierce because kind of throughout the pandemic, it's somebody that we've watched on YouTube just kind of like talking about gaming, talking about the industry, and I quite like the way and the angle of approach she takes to things. She's very objective. She doesn't tend to give massive opinion pieces, but when it's about important shit like Activision, for example, she was straight on it and talking about it. There was another thing as well that I kind of want to highlight was the stuff that she does around kind of mental health and things. And me and Zoe, we watched, I don't know if you have seen it, but she did like a little kind of movie on her YouTube channel of her experience of lockdown. And we found that really, really powerful. And it was really kind of reflective of the experience that we kind of felt we had as well. So I just like the way that she advocates for people and her overall approach in the games industry, and taking that objective standpoint and being able to call out shit when it's shit and be able to say something's good when it's good without the fear of, you know, a company not giving her a game. You know what I mean? And that's what I liked about her.
Well, there we go. 3 very, very deserving people. Now, Duncan, it is up to you to announce the big one.
Do a little drum roll. So the Gamers Watch Game of the Year. My pick is Psychonauts 2.
That was so loud in my ear. Oh my god.
I was proper banging my desk then.
Did you buy dinner first?
Too poor.
Small Psychonauts 2. Shaun, your Game of the Year?
Mine, despite all of the praise I've given Psychonauts 2 throughout this award ceremony, is It Takes Two.
Paul?
I picked Forza Horizon 5.
Harry?
Halo Infinite. No,
such a card. You know.
The Artful Escape.
Cool. So I picked Psychonauts 2. You know, what more can I say that we haven't said this evening? It's just so perfect. Like my favourite point that I think I've ever made about it. I mean, I think we brought it up last week, was that it's one of the only games where I feel like Raz is actually like in the world. I really kind of struggle to articulate like my feelings around it, but you know, like Shaun said about all like the mental health things, I absolutely adored it, and it's one of my top ever games. I don't know how anyone could play it and not think it's anything other than just very, very special. Shaun?
Yeah, I'd agree with all of those. I've basically fixed it so that both Psychonauts 2 and It Takes Two would get into this. So whichever one of you picked, I was going to pick the other. It Takes Two, like I said before, is such a good co-op game. In an industry where co-op games are becoming less and less frequent, this game's not only brought back like an amazingly fun co-op game, it's literally one of the best co-op games I've ever played through. And it's the kind of like Psychonauts 2 where each level's different in terms of like art style and level design. This one's each level's different with the sort of like mechanics. So it does a very Mario thing where each level a new mechanic's introduced, it's developed, it tests you with it, and then it throws that mechanic away and it's on to the next one. And it keeps you on your toes, and it means it never drags on or gets boring at all. It's just great. It Takes Two. It is great.
Paul?
Yeah, so with Forza Horizon 5, for me, I couldn't stop playing it. I played it to the point of completion of every single race, which I've already said, and you've already took the piss out of me for. But yeah, I just loved every moment of playing it. It had its flaws, don't get me wrong, but for me, I've been off work a lot over the past 9 weeks. I think it is now 10 weeks, and it filled so much of that time for me. And I just got such a positive vibe out of it, and I just liked every bit of it. It's my favorite racing game, I think, of all time. Forza Horizon 5. I think they outdid themselves.
And Harry?
It's just good, innit? Don't really know what more I can say that I haven't already. It's just an absolutely spectacular story intertwined with an amazing audio and visual treat. with some phenomenally good voice acting and just a real heart all the way through the game. So yeah, it's very special.
When you consider it was their debut game. Is it Beethoven and Dinosaur? Just phenomenal. I was so mad that it didn't win best audio in the Shitty Game Awards, which is why we're better. Cool. Over to you, Shaun.
Our final category, which was basically this category came about because Lucia came home from work the other day, and it was as I was filling out this spreadsheet that we've got in front of us for all the nominations and that, and it dawned on me that it was like the 4th day in a row where she's got home from work and I'm still just working on a laptop and basically ignoring her. So I was like, I'll find out what her game of the year was. So this is the other half game of the year, and it's basically what our partners thought were...
Not what Paul thought this was, and the first game of the year was any game made from January to June, and then the other half game of the year was July to December.
Yeah, this is what game our partners either enjoyed watching us play or enjoyed playing the most. So Lucia's was It Takes Two, and what was Zoe's, Paul?
Zoe's was The Artful Escape.
And then Harry?
My partner Shannon's favourite was Among Us.
And Duncan?
George's was Psychonauts 2.
So I don't know the exact reason why Lucia's was It Takes Two, I must admit. She played it with me. I guess because she could complete it.
There we go.
No, she did. We played several games together this year, and also played several games like alongside each other, sort of thing. So like 2 Point Hospital. Obviously, you can't play it together, but we've both been playing it on like separate screens at the same time. And it's one of the only games that she hasn't wanted to actually like end. Like once it finished, she was like just wanted to carry on playing it like forever. So yeah, It Takes Two. What about The Artful Escape, Paul?
So for Zoe, I think the main thing was that it wasn't Gears of War. But no, genuinely, Zoe is a theatre kid. She grew up doing theatre, and she is currently doing it just now as well. So to have an experience like The Artful Escape that is about somebody being who they are, being who they want to be in their musical life, it was really speaking to her, and she just overall really enjoyed not just the story but the full experience that has been discussed today by everybody.
Fair enough. And then Among Us.
It's the only game she played.
Okay, great. Cool. Psychonauts 2, Duncan?
Yeah, to be honest, I thought Georgia would pick It Takes Two because that's the one that we played through together. And I mean, a very, very close game of the year for me. But one of my favourite things is just playing a new game and Georgia watches me. It's just like a nice thing. But Psychonauts 2, she was just as invested in it as I was. Loved all the characters. Psychonauts 2. Cheers, love.
And there we go.
And that is the Gamers Watch Awards of 2021.
It is indeed. Now, we would normally finish the show with Game in 60 Seconds, but unfortunately, my laptop is going to force reset in 6 minutes' time, and I have been watching the countdown timer, and it will not let me postpone it at all. So
what we'll do is Harry will fuck off. I'll log in as Gamers Watch on Zencaster, and we'll just record it, us three.
If you want to.
I've got a Game in 60 Seconds. I am not waiting 2 weeks.
Fuck it, Shaun. Okay, Shaun, I'll tell you what. Let's do it very quickly. All right, really quickly.
Okay, great.
Thing is
Discord.
We cannot say what last week's ones were because Paul's here and he's got to guess them.
We'll just do this as like a one-off, and then next episode
we'll do this as a one-off.
Year,
Okay, yeah. So my Game in 60 Seconds for this week is bloody hell. Her wrist is hot.
What the fuck?
Oh, God.
Bloody hell, her wrist is hot.
No idea.
No clue.
Okay,
No.
so that is...
I don't know.
Oh.
Fucking hell.
I was thinking a lot more dirty than that.
Yeah, so was I.
That works. Duncan, have you got one?
You ain't got one, you fucking rat.
What? Is that your clue?
That's my clue. Not that you haven't got a clue.
Oh, okay. I thought you were just really angry at me that I didn't have a good one.
I'll repeat it discreetly. You ain't got one, you fucking rat.
Oh.
Did you learn that one from the chavs?
as I was battering them with their empty bowls of Mountain Dew.
I have no idea.
Anyone?
No.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll give you that one.
Right.
I'll give you that one. Now, Shaun, quickly whip it out.
You say that. So it's not Photoshop. No. I've taken the shop out and it's just a photo.
Oh, God.
And it's with you in 3, 2, 1, bam.
What?
It is, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh no. And on that, thank you everybody for tuning in. I literally have to fly off immediately. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed the awards. Duncan, as always, thank you for coming in.
One more thing. Me, Duncan, and Paul have been playing a secret game called Harry Bingo throughout this episode. And, so earlier in the day, we each picked 5 things we think Harry would say throughout the episode, and I've been ticking them off. We actually got over half right. Okay. So I got a tick for it's just shit. I didn't get anything because I think it was because it was rushed. You would have done it. Thanking Duncan for being on the show.
I literally just said thanks, Duncan, for being on the show.
I'll get a tick for that. I'll take that. Scotland joke at Paul didn't get done. A tick for I'm ill, and a tick for AAA industry or nonces or shit.
Fair enough.
Unless I missed it, did he say diatribe or any other?
No, Harry, you didn't say diatribe this week, so I didn't do anything that. But you did say you got a little lad on the way, so I'll take that one. You
baby on the way.
Didn't reference the Boxenberger episode not doing very well, so I didn't score there. But you were being a general pervert with the waifu stuff, so I'll take that one. You remembered to include everyone in all the segments, so I didn't get that one. And the last one, I'm not sure if you're going to do or not, so I'll leave that until the very end.
Is that where I fuck up the outro?
No.
And my one, I did not get that you did not make a comment about Yakuza cutscenes being too long.
Well, they are too long.
He did make a Yakuza comment, though. He
did
say
say
they're
fucking
just boring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mainly because of the cutscenes.
I'll take it. You did pretend you're not going to comment on Halo multiplayer and then commented on Halo multiplayer.
You dick.
You didn't acknowledge that you often talk over Shaun this time, which I was pretty disappointed.
Okay.
You did unenthusiastically hand it over to Dunks.
Yeah. Is that why you said that? You cock.
And I don't think you have, but I put Axe displeased at the beautiful selfies going on in the chat. Yeah, I was very, very often going, oh, fuck's sake.
Harry, is there anything you want to say to us after that?
This is probably my last episode and you're not going to hear me for a while.
Anything about what we've been doing?
No, I mean... You can say that if you want.
No. What is the last one?
Ah, damn it. I was going to have you call us all cunts.
You are all cunts. You are.
There we go. There's the tick.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm ending the episode right now. Keep on listening. Keep on listening.
That's 10 out of 15 if I count
correct.
Keep
on listening.
Not bad.
And keep on gaming.
Yeah, bye. You dickheads. You absolute colossal dickheads.